Some of you are wearing yourselves out, overcompensating for what went wrong in the past. You're doing everything that you possibly can do so that this person or this group of people will be happy with you, that they'll appreciate you or they'll forgive you for what went wrong in the past. And I've been seeing that, and that's why I want to talk about it. Sometimes you can just wear yourselves out by doing too much. You're overcompensating because you're trying to make up for something that happened many, many years ago. And your heart is good in it. You really are trying to help. You're trying to do what's right. But you forget that you're wearing yourselves out because you're still trying to get the approval of that person or that person to forgive you or that person to appreciate or love you more. And you're overcompensating. And what's tricky about that is, here's what's, man, it's kind of sad in a way. And I've been there. Your heart is right in it, but you end up wearing yourself out to the point where the moment they have an issue with something, feel that you're not doing something right or you messed up here or there, then you explode. Then you explode and you're upset because you're trying to say, well, wait a minute, I've done all of these things. Don't you see any of it? And what I've noticed is this: you can't make someone like you or be happy with you. If someone has actually chosen and made the decision, so follow me for a second. If they have chosen and made the decision to be unhappy with you, and they've chosen to keep you enslaved by what happened in the past, there's very little that you can do to change that. Now, I believe in prayer. You all know that. I believe, hey, get on your knees, go to prayer before God and ask God to move in their hearts and cry out to God, for forgiveness if there's something you've done wrong to someone. I believe in all of that wholeheartedly. I really do. But I also know that if someone has actually made the decision, they don't want to forgive, or they just don't like you anymore. Maybe you really didn't do anything that bad to them in the past, but they just are not really feeling you, or they just kind of seem like they just don't like your company, or really just don't, they find issues with everything you do. If they've chosen that, there's very little you can do when someone has enslaved you, or at least I should say try to enslave you by the past. Does that make sense? You have to take care of yourself as well. And by the way, this is Z. You're listening to Unlocking Greatness podcast with Zenja Glass. I know I just kind of jumped right into it. I don't even know what I'm going to call this podcast. I might call it Overcompensating or something like that. This message has been heavy on my heart because not only have I seen it in my own life at times, I've seen it in the lives of so many people that I love and that I'm close to. I really have. I have to watch that even in my own life even with my children. So sometimes the intent is not bad. Sometimes the bad things that may have happened in your past. So for example, with myself, anyone that's been listening to my podcast know that I definitely had a rough upbringing. My goodness, I remember when one time we moved 22 times in 1 year. I know what powdered eggs and powdered milk and government cheese and all of that stuff tastes like. Some of you guys probably have no idea what I'm talking about. I know what it's like to eat at a shelter or, get food from a pantry. I know what it's like to be in the welfare system because it took my mom about 10 to 12 years to finish college. And so most of my life through pretty much the time I finished college, we were on welfare. Now, my mother was an amazing person, and I don't want to get into that detail right now, but I'm going somewhere with this. So because of my past and what I went through and all the multiple times we were moving around and really never having enough money really for much of anything. And I do have to give credit to my mom because the one thing she gave me was the greatest gift of all is she always talked about God. Always, always, always she had a word to give us. But we didn't have any money. And sometimes I have to guard and watch myself because even with my own kids, though, the majority of them are adults now, sometimes you just overcompensate. And I have some friends like that who do that as well. A couple of friends who are in situations where they're single parents even. And they say, well, Z, it's just that with their dad not being in their lives. I'm trying not to cry because I'm very close to some of my friends who are going through some things. And my heart just, oh my God, goes out to Oh my goodness, I won't even get into that. But I have some friends who are going through things where they just say, Z, I'm trying to make up because their dad is not here in their lives. And that's why I want to just kind of give them more so they don't feel they miss out. And with some of these friends who I love so dearly, and they know I love them, even in those situations, we can give and give and give so much to the point where we're overcompensating. And there's just some things we can't make up for. Buying kids, $400 and $500 pair of gym shoes is not going to make up for another parent not being in their lives. Allowing them to kind of do whatever they please and whatever they want because you're trying to make up for what they don't have, that's not going to help. I'm not talking about anyone. I'm not putting down any single parent or parents who are going through things. I'm speaking even for myself. Well, partly because I don't think I've ever gotten my kids a pair of gym shoes that was, more than $60 or $70 because that's just how I roll. But anyway, my point is that I still sometimes have to guard not overcompensating because I don't want my kids to go through what I went through. I don't want them to experience, jumping around from house to house to house. And some of the decisions that I've made and how I parent, I have to be very careful in how I even parent my kids, even as adults. Because sometimes I can easily jump in and start overcompensating for the things that went wrong in my own past because I want them to be protected. And so you become one of those, I think there's a term, it might be called helicopter mom. I think that's the term for it. But you just get so involved in every little thing because you didn't have, or because things didn't work out for you the way you wanted it to. You wear yourself out. You exhaust yourself trying to be, this super parent, and I'm speaking to moms and fathers, but trying to be this super parent or this super husband or this super wife because you're trying to compensate for what wasn't right in the past. And that applies to relationships as well. That applies to that. Sometimes we can overcompensate in a relationship because we feel like, oh man, but he had it so bad growing up. Oh man, he grew up, in this terrible situation. And even though, he's treating me bad or she's treating me bad, man, it's only because of how she, grew up and how she was. And let me just overcompensate. Let me just let things, be as it is and allow myself to be trampled on or treated any kind of way because I just need to overcompensate and just suffocate this person with love until they can appreciate me, until they can change and be happy. Hopefully that's making sense. We can overcompensate at the risk of losing ourselves. And it's truly because our hearts are we love. So I'm not saying anything bad. I'm not saying anyone has any bad intentions at all. I'm speaking actually to people who normally give and serve and love and go out of their way and deny themselves. You're the ones I'm speaking to because I know you're a lot like me. If there's one thing I know about my audience, you all are a lot like me. I've learned that. I feel like we've become family at this point. And this is just a short message just to talk to you. You have to take care of yourself as well. And you have to pull back a little bit and sometimes just allow things to be as it is. We can't fix everything. And I know it hurts when we have a loved one, someone we love. Oh my goodness, and we want the situation to be better. We want them to see that we love them. We want them to appreciate what we're trying to do. We want them to feel love. We want them to know that we're there. We want them to know that we have their back. And some of us, we just wear ourselves completely out because we are trying to overcompensate. And we're trying to force someone, in some situations, force someone to be happy with us. Let me say that again. Force someone to be happy with us who have simply chosen to not be happy with us right now. Does that make sense? Now, it could be children. It could be friends. It could be a spouse. It could be a coworker, a boss. I mean, this can apply to just about anyone. I'm not pinpointing a certain group of people. I just want you to just take a step back and just evaluate, man, is that true in my life? I mean, I've tried it. I'm being honest. I've tried to make people happy with me that didn't like me, that chose to just kind of be silent and not speak to me. I've tried. And I found that no matter what I do, I'm talking working my fingers to the bones, doing whatever I could do to try to get that love, get that attention, make it right, make the person want to be friends with me, make the person love me or show affection or value my friendship or whatever it is. What I have found, when people have made a decision, at least at this point, I'm going to be unhappy with you, and you're doing that nice little dance, trying to do whatever you can, wearing your butt out to win their approval, what I have found, until they are ready to be happy with you or accept you or love you or forgive you in some cases if you've done something wrong in the past, until, I should say, God has moved in their heart or they have allowed God to move in their heart, and until they are ready, there's very little you can do to change it other than wear yourself out. And I believe in my heart, I can't be the only one that's fallen into that. So now you may be thinking, well, Z, what do we do? Live your life. Live your life. Be the best version of yourself you possibly can be. I strongly believe in walking in humility. God does not like a prideful spirit. I don't believe in walking in arrogance. I believe if you've hurt someone, you need to ask for forgiveness and you need to be sincere about that. And I also believe that there are consequences to some of our actions, because some of the things we've done probably truly has really hurt someone, and it's just going to take them a little bit of time to, to deal with that. But in general, a lot of times I think it's just, they've just chosen to not be happy with you right now. And I dare say, now I'm probably taking this a little bit too far, but I'm going to say it. I dare say many of them know exactly what they're doing. And they see you running around trying to do everything you possibly can do to please them. And they like that. They probably would never tell you that, but they like it because they're getting that attention. They're getting that attention from you. And they'll sit there, fold their arms, be quiet, not say nothing, not show you that love and attention you're trying to get, and let you wear your little self out. And then can have the audacity to turn around and pick on something that you didn't do that you should have done. And then that's when you go exploding, when you've had enough, right? You guys know I'm telling the truth. You feel like you've had enough, like everything I've done, and and you pick out this one thing and then you're losing it because you're worn out and you're tired and you're exhausted and you've given and given and given and given and given. And all of a sudden they're pointing out something you didn't do, and now you feel you got a right to just let loose. So I just want to tell you, before you get to that point, take a step back, go to God in prayer, and ask him to give you wisdom and guidance. I remember a long time ago, my sister told me something to the effect, I'm not quoting her just right, but she said something like, you got to be okay with people not being okay. I don't know, maybe because I'm in my 50s now, I don't know. My perspective has changed so much on things I can't even begin to tell you all. I don't even know if it's an age thing. I think it's a life thing, so I take that back. I think because I've worn myself out so many times in the past trying to win the approval or the love or the affection or the attention or what have you. And as I look back, I realize that there was nothing I can do to change that situation or that person. And it's not until that person was ready or willing, because sometimes a person just may never be willing to let go. Until that person is willing to, forgive or to, welcome you into, their lives or what have you, you're just wearing yourself out. So try being quiet a little bit, staying in prayer, live your life. Life is too short to be walking on eggshells around someone who's chosen to keep you enslaved by the past. So I pray that this is a message that frees you today and that you're okay. If you walk in a room and someone's quiet or choose not to speak and don't want to say anything to you and this and that, instead of you trying to figure out what's wrong, what I did wrong today, I wonder why is this, I wonder why. No. Live your life. I think there's a podcast I did a while ago called You Have Been Set Free. If you have not heard that one, please go back and listen to it. That's a really, really, really good one. And I think that was a situation. I can't remember exactly what happened, but that was another good talk with my sister. I just love my sister so much. But a situation when I can't remember, something that happened, and I called her and I was all upset by it. And she said, baby, don't you realize you've been set free? You've been set free. So you mean telling me now I get to what? Go sit in a room and read a book, or go work on my dreams or my goals, or go on a prayer walk, or do whatever I got to do because you don't want to talk to me or you want to treat me this way? Okay, let me remove myself a little bit from this. I'm going to still pray for you. I love you. I'm going to still pray. But shoot, you just set me free. Now I get to work on me because you choose to treat me this way? Okay. But anyway, watch that. Listen to that podcast again. It'll make sense. That's about it. I just want to encourage you all, don't wear yourselves out. I know it's hard, especially when it comes to our kids. Oh, my goodness. Because we feel we got to make up for all the things that they, don't have, or, maybe people missing from their lives, or I don't know, the mess that we've been through in our past. And I've learned from a dear friend of mine that that's actually not showing love at all. Sometimes we got to let people go through a few things. Let go a little bit. Let things be a little bit. Stop trying to overcompensate. You really need to be focused on you, your walk with God, sitting in prayer, listening and hearing what he has to say to you. Don't wear yourself out overcompensating anymore, okay? I love you all. You know I do. I'm so excited about my new podcast studio and the new setups and all the new things that it's going on. So I am just so looking forward to continue to grow with you all. Love you all. This is Z with Unlocking Greatness Podcast. Oh, don't forget, my community text number is somewhere in the show notes. So find it. You can text the letter Z or anything to it, and you'll automatically be added to my community text platform so that I can keep in touch with you and let you know when I'm going to be going live and doing some other amazing things, okay? Love you all. Bye-bye. Hello, everyone. Thanks for listening. This is Z with Unlocking Greatness Podcast. Please don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and the notification button. Love you all. Bye-bye.